Champions are not born. They're forged. This is about turning the ordinary into undisputed. Available now. Ade Depot, brought to you by Undisputed.
Morning peeps, good morning everyone. How's everyone doing? Hopefully you guys are all doing well. Don't forget, if you're new to the channel, like, share, subscribe. I make my way to the weigh-ins in about 45 minutes. Really looking forward to it. Hopefully a nice crowd turns up. I'm sure they will. They turned up for the media public workout, so I expect them to turn up for this. 3 o'clock on a Friday doesn't help. I think they should have done like an official weigh-in at like 1, 2, and then a ceremonial weigh-in at like 6 or 7. So you get the crowd after work and that place is jam-packed. But regardless, I do think it's going to be busy. You know what's funny? At the media public workout, Daniel Dubois came out and obviously got a good reception. Usyk came out, the place went mad. Usyk is a superstar. So it's going to be sad when it's all said and done with Alexander. I have to do something with Lennox Lewis when I get there, which is very much a pinch me moment. I know Lennox. I've seen him at events. I've always kind of made a beeline to him to say hello, just to show my respect to him, because we are talking about one of the greatest heavyweights of all time, but I've never worked with him. So this will be my first time working with him. And I can't wait. Honestly, like, the kid in me is so excited to be working alongside Lennox Lewis. I have done a prediction video with Gman. I'll put the link up here somewhere. I have gone back and forth on this one. I've always said Usyk will win, but I've always said Daniel has a really good chance or Daniel has no chance. A day out, and I'm going with Daniel has a chance, but the big favorite for me is Alexander Usyk. Like, being around him for the last couple of days, you realize this guy is locked in. Like, he is super focused. And when he said at the press conference that he's doing this for his country, I was like, okay, Daniel's in trouble. It's the way in which he said it as well. I was like, okay, cool. Obviously, look, he's doing it for money, and he's doing it because he wants to become undisputed. But I genuinely believe the bigger reason is for his country. Like, I almost feel like he is now the figurehead when it comes to Ukraine. So I feel like he's doing it for a lot more than just money and titles. So I think Alexander Usyk either gets a late stoppage or it's wide, like 9-3, 10-2 wide. I think Daniel's going to look incredible, and he might even hurt Usyk at some stage in that fight. But I think Usyk, as he's always shown us to do, will just adjust. And once he makes those adjustments, I don't think Daniel Dubois can keep up with it. I really don't. And another point I made, I've always been saying about Usyk's age, right? 38, which is old. It's old. But G-Man made a great point. He was like, when Beterbiev fought Bivol, Beterbiev was what, 39 the first time round? And even the great Bivol, who is pound for pound top 5, top 6, still couldn't beat Beterbiev. Although it was very close, I thought Bivol won. But what I'm trying to get at is, even if you are old, if you look after yourself like Beterbiev does, like Crawford does, certainly like Usyk does, age isn't just a number, but you can slow your decline down. And I think that's what Alexander Usyk is doing. I was going to speak about this Turkey saying no more pay-per-view thing. I even made a thumbnail. I was going to do a video on it, but I kind of stopped myself because I need to understand it a bit more. I think like most boxing fans, we celebrated when we heard the news. Oh my God, no more pay-per-view. This is incredible. And it starts, by the way, with this November card, Benavidez versus Yard. Now, that card isn't pay-per-view. Benavidez versus Yard, Norman versus Haney, Abdullah Mason versus Sam Noakes, Jesse Bam Rodriguez versus Martinez. Like, incredible card. And I think we're going to get Dalton Smith versus Sabril Matias. That's an incredible card. But before I kind of made a video about it, celebrating it, I need to understand what DAZN are going to do. Like, are DAZN going to hike the prices up? And I say this as a boxing fan. Yes, I work for DAZN, but I said this as a boxing fan. Is the price going to go like to £50 a month? Do you know what I mean? So I think before we all celebrate it, and I've seen a few people do videos on it, let's just kind of rein it in a little bit until we know exactly what this means, because it could mean a price hike. And don't get me wrong, it still might be value for money, but what we don't want to do is have a much more increased price hike. I get it if it goes up a bit, but we don't want to be paying 50, 60 quid a month. I will ask those in the know if that is going to be the case. All right, let's talk Chris Eubank Jr. versus Conor Benn 2, which now looks like it is off. I did a video 2 weeks ago saying, yeah, it's signed, it's done, September 20th, and all of a sudden, that doesn't seem to be the case. Eddie did a video with Stomping Ground the other day talking about it. And he said, well, we're kind of reaching that deadline where a fight of this magnitude, you really want to start the press tour and get it out there sort of 10 weeks before the event, which is, I think, where we are now. And I think he also said that Turkey's kind of reached out to Chris and we've not heard from Chris, which is very unlike Chris Eubank Jr. He's about his money. Look, if it is off, I'm actually not mad at it. I'm not mad at it. And I've said this so many times, so apologies if I'm repeating myself. The first one was so good, I'm okay. I'm okay with it just being like that. We don't need to continually sort of do things over and over and over again because the first one generated so much money and was a fantastic fight. It's fine. I think both of them sort of stood up for the family name, if you like. Both can walk away with their heads held high, as Conor has done, as Chris has done, and move on. I mean, if you're Chris Eubank Jr., there are several questions. I think the biggest one is, do I still want to continue? Was he 35, 36? He would have made a lot of money in his career. And hopefully, and he seems to be quite smart, hopefully he's not just throwing that money away. Doesn't seem to come across as that guy, but hopefully that isn't the case. And if you're Conor, and I've said this so many times, if you're Conor, like, you've got so many dance partners at 147, like so many, all of which generate a lot of money. In fact, your dance partners that generate a lot of money are not even world champions. So you don't even have to run to a world title fight. You can, like, Conor Benn versus Ryan Garcia. Conor's known in America now. Having been in America for the last couple of weeks, like, when people talk about Conor Benn, they know who he is. And that was because of that fight against Eubank. So he could genuinely wait for the winner of Brian Norman, Devin Haney. Sounds crazy, but he can jump the queue. I think we know. He can wait for the winner of Barrios Pacquiao. Ryan Garcia's out there. Literally, Teofimo Lopez is going to float up to 147. There are names. I'm not saying Conor wins all those fights, but there are fights that we know how Conor fights that they will be exciting. So if you're Conor, like, yes, you might be upset because ultimately you want to try and get your lick back, but you shouldn't be fine at 160. You simply shouldn't be fine at 160, and nor should Chris. So if Chris doesn't want to continue, so if Chris wants to continue, Chris should get up to 168. Chris should be putting his hands up for Hamza Shiraz. Crazy, maybe, off the back of what Hamza did to Edgar Berlanga, but that's a big, big fight. That's a big fight, generates a lot of money. We know how much Turkey is invested in Hamza Shiraz. So the check might not be the Conor Benn check, but it will be a big check for Chris Eubank Jr. to fight Hamza Shiraz. It'd be a massive check. So that's what they both should do. So again, I'm not mad if this fight is off. I'm pretty sure that Matchroom wouldn't be too happy, and Eddie, etc. But I'm not mad at it. I think Conor's got so many big fights out there. He is now a superstar, whether people like it or not. He's now a superstar. And Chris, if he wants to continue, I think there are one or two good fights out there for him. I think he's now fallen behind Hamza in the Canelo sweepstakes, but there are still good fights out there for him. But we'll wait to see. We'll wait to see what happens. You know what's kind of giving me a bit of a headache? This AJ Jake Paul take. I think obviously we saw Jake Paul with Turkey recently, and their relationship seems to have got better. Obviously, it seems to have been, it was fractured before because of the Canelo stuff, but it now looks like they're both on the same page. And there's a lot of talk now about Jake Paul versus AJ. Turkey's mentioned it as well. And look, credit to Jake. He seems to be wanting the tough fights. And it's funny, right? Because everyone's like, I'll fight these guys. And he's like, well, 1 second, I want to fight Canelo and AJ. So that almost supersedes anyone else. And look, you're going to say he's getting paid, and you're right, he is getting paid, but the boy is not broke. I mean, bailiffs aren't knocking on his door. He's got a few $100 million in the bank account. And he just wants to test himself. I'll say this though, AJ, if he wanted to, if he decides that I want to hurt this kid, AJ could knock him out in like 30 seconds. Genuinely mean it. This isn't me trying to, create a headline here. AJ could and should be able to knock out Jake Paul in 30 seconds. Like, what are we doing? AJ's a former unified heavyweight champion of the world. AJ's not damaged goods. Do you know what I mean? This isn't like, I see some people saying that Jake Paul would beat Deontay Wilder. This isn't a Deontay Wilder situation here. AJ would wreck him. Like 250-pound AJ would wreck him. Like, as soon as AJ gets in the ring and the ref says, okay, fight, and AJ walks over and just slips that first right hand, uppercut lands, it's like, dude, it could be 10 seconds. It could be 10 seconds. So, look, credit to Jake, but it ain't good. If you're AJ, take the fight. I can't believe I'm saying this, but if I'm AJ, the money in fighting Jake Paul is so astronomical, yet the fight is so easy. Take the fight. I'll take it. If I'm AJ, I'm taking it in a heartbeat. I'm like, he wants to fight me. What? And you're paying me what? Give me it right now. So, look, we'll see what happens with it. I was going to say it won't happen, but I don't know, with Jake has called out AJ a few times. And there's no doubt these guys talk. There's no doubt about it. And Turkey all of a sudden has mentioned it. So if you're trying to put the pieces of the puzzle together, you're thinking, 1 second, there could actually be a fucking paint in here. You know what I mean? There's something like literally all the pieces of this could happen, which is crazy. Money talks in this boxing game, and there's a lot of money there. So I don't know. I'm not quite sure. All right. Have I got time? My God, 11:30. I need to get out of here at 12. The taxi's coming at 12. We'll let him stay. We'll let him stay out there for a few minutes. Okay. Ammo Williams has got a new opponent, Ivan Vasquez. Jesus, how have you found a new opponent on 5 days? Let's have a quick look at who this Ivan Vasquez is. Credit to Ivan Vasquez. 11-0-2. Okay. Well, for a 5 day, not even 5 days, is it? 3 day notice opponent is not. It's not the worst. He's never had a 10 rounder. He's never had an 8 rounder. He's been doing 6 rounders. So this is just to stay busy for Ammo. But if you're Ammo, you just want to stay on the card, so it's all good. But look, guys. Anyway, look, we're making our way. Let's see what they weigh. Remember, Alexander Usyk always weighs 222 pounds. Let's see if he is a bit heavy. He looks it. Let's see if Daniel Dubois is a bit lighter. He looks it as well. May the best man win. Peace out.
Champions are not born. They're forged. This is about turning the ordinary into undisputed. Available now.
Ade Gman, brought to you by Undisputed.